Okay, so EGX returns this year at Earls Court, London, and from 8 AM there were hundreds of people already lining up, eager to get in to have a go on the latest games and to see what was coming up in the world of gaming. And I was lucky enough to be invited to go down to do press on the Thursday, and there was a lot of calamity involving actually getting there, so I was quite tired from the night before. But that's another matter entirely. So I went down, and my first thing when the doors opened at 10, which everyone was queuing from 8, so it was a bit crazy, was to go down to the Assassin's Creed stand, because I knew that you would get this map if you went there early enough whilst they still had them in stock, and I thought it would be something cool. Hints about some sort of alternate reality game involved with the map and a prize if you can figure it out, but I haven't bothered. There's an IP address I've just noticed. First time I've actually looked properly at that. But yes, I thought I'll go to that, because if you queue up for the queue up things early before there's anyone involved, you don't have to sit there for 3 hours waiting to get in. Unfortunately, being the Thursday, there was a bit of a calamity as there was no emergency exit sign, so they weren't allowed to take people in, and they promised a 15-minute wait, so I thought, that's not too bad, I'll sit in queue for that, but 15 minutes turned into an hour and a half, and whilst we were in the queue, they paraded their Uplay ambassador girl in front of everyone, and she sort of hung around for like 5 seconds and disappeared off, so no one could film or interview her, even though she knew that the first 3 of us in the queue were press people. But, you know, that's beside the point. But once we got in, it was okay. This was for Unity, not the other one, which is Rogue, because Rogue is going to be the PS3 version and Xbox 360 version, whereas Unity is going to be the next-gen console version. And PC owners will be lucky enough to be able to pick both, depending on whether their hardware can handle it. Now, I've done a few videos on Assassin's Creed in the past with number 2. I stopped after number 2 because of all the expansions that should have been DLC with Ezio and more Ezio, and then how they just killed it so that you had to do like exact things to do the 100% synchronization. Luckily, in Unity, they've decided to get rid of that, so it's more free to do whatever you want, and gameplay does adapt to how you play. And in their video, they showed, well, it wasn't video, they were playing it live on stage, but he had the side missions, and one of the side missions was to assassinate one of the people, but he didn't directly assassinate the person. It was quite noticeable in the usual Assassin's Creed style that it was a trail mission, so he followed the person to listen into a conversation, and by listening into that conversation it unlocked further events. So that could get a bit complicated for some people, because they might not figure out that they're meant to perhaps trail someone or do something in a specific way. I doubt it will influence the way the game actually plays too much, because some people will just play it through and, you know, it won't matter that they haven't got exactly the requirements, but there will be complicated hidden ways of doing things that unlock different events and different outcomes. Plus, it should be more open range compared to how it had been, you know, insisting that you do a specific way to get 100% and complete it properly. Whether that still translates to how it plays in the end, because you have to find these hidden ways of doing things, who knows. But it is going to be up to 4-player co-op, which could get complicated in the main game, because you could get people who troll about and deliberately kill off people or deliberately aggro the guards and things like that. So whether it's just local co-op, which would be okay, or forced online co-op is another thing, because that could get really bad if you've got people dropping into your game and just trolling everything so you can't complete it, so you end up doing what some people do with Dark Souls and just play it offline so you can't get invaded and messed up. But as compensation for sitting around, they gave us limited edition art prints which got a bit bent up in my bag. Which you do get for pre-ordering the game anyway, so those who pre-ordered it, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to wait for a PC release and hope my PC can play it, or maybe hang about, because obviously it might not work, and then it would be pointless buying it, and I'm not going to buy a new console, and I'm happy with my PC. I prefer PC gaming now anyway. It's easier with online play and all these other things. So that is that. The rest of the events was a bit better. I mean, I did go around and then I did have interviews planned, but as my camcorder has messed up its microphone and just doesn't record sound, so that's why I've got my side PC mic and doing everything here now. Yes, I couldn't do interviews, and I was planning to go to the BAFTA side events, which Mike Bissell was doing a thing at. Thus, there was the hotel check-in, which was a long, complicated process, and it's supposed to be a quick check-in, half an hour walk to that and half an hour walk back, plus sitting around waiting to be able to check in for an hour because they hadn't cleaned the room and wouldn't just let me take my key and go, yeah, I'll come back when you've cleaned it later. No, I had to sit in the hotel room waiting for that. So that lost even more time. So by the time I got back, it was 3 o'clock, yeah. So I lost, actually, 3 hours in total, so I think I had a shower as well while I was there. So, yeah. Because half an hour walk and half an hour back, and plus I'd been out dancing and drinking all night the night before to wait for my coach to go down, and got 1 hour's sleep on the coach. Yes, that was a lot of fun. I was planning on sleeping for longer, but because people woke me up on the coach, I couldn't get back to sleep. So most of the event I was dropping off listening to the things, like trying to stay awake, and it's like people were watching me, I could see them, and it's like, I am trying to stay awake, this isn't rude, and I'm not bored by your thing, it's just I'm falling asleep because I was out drinking all night the night before because my coach was at 4:40 AM, so they used to get to London, and it was the only way I could get to the coach. Yes. I also got a Little Big Planets personalised thing, being a bit silly on the cover for fun. That was free as well. There were other things about, like, the secret shop and different playing areas, and they did have quite good setups, right? All networked. There was the League of Legends area, which they put a lot of effort into, fully unlocked accounts, so people could just play and have fun and experience the game and play together without any hassle of having to unlock things or sign into their own account from different things. There was a Minecraft playing area, quite a few different shops with different deals and special things, and if you owned some of the games and could prove it to some of the places, like in Team 17 they had Silver Medallion if you bought their latest game, and there were other things like that. And I did plan to go around and interview a lot of the devs and get them to sign t-shirts to do a giveaway, but when I got there, the first thing I did was I saw the Orcast, so I thought I'll go up and get them to sign it, and they were happy to sign it. Hannah was a bit in her gnarly voice, like, you might want to ask Ridge Dog, but they were happy to sign it, and perfectly fine for me to do the giveaway. But then the security guard was like, no, you've used our logo on it, how dare you? And it's like, he didn't even know if I'd asked permission or anything, and it's like, yes, you best ask him. Just verbal beatdown. It was going on for like 10 minutes, and I just embarrassed and wanted to get out of there. So I did have his and hers t-shirts to give away, and they would have been full of signatures and different things, not just Hannah and Duncan, from all the devs, and make them feel like they were celebrities, like they deserve to be, because they've made the games that everyone wants to play, and other celebrities would have been there from YouTube, like Captain Sparkle and stuff. But after the verbal beatdown, I just walked around embarrassed and kind of not wanting to get it out again, because it was like, these people know they can see the light today, blah 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 blah. I was like, yes, I just want to go now. I'm embarrassed. And if Kim had been there, Yorkshire Kim, I'm sure she would have been a bit, because she's happy and huggy and things, like, I'm sure she would have stuck up for me a little against him, but yeah. So I walked around for like half an hour feeling dejected and embarrassed, and then I saw the retro play area where I decided to play on the Mega Bomberman for a bit, like the proper old one, and wondered why they don't really do a remake of that, even if they only add a couple of powers, or, you know, online multiplayer with bigger arenas and up to 16 people playing. It's still good arcadey fun that people would like, and, you know, it would be inexpensive to play. And I did even like the adventure mode when I played it on the Amiga so long ago. And it's just a fun game that they haven't bothered recreating or remaking or re-releasing, because they do re-release the old Amiga games, as you've seen on Steam. So I don't get why they don't just re-release Bomberman for like £4 or £5. People would play it, especially if it had online multiplayer with the 4 players, because they just like these things. But there are recent games that do have similar arcadey fun feels. A lot of them are quite bad and just aren't worth light today, but I did get to play one which was Paperbound, and that is probably the best that you're going to get to a Steam version of, say, what's it called, Super Smash Brothers. It's not anything like Super Smash Brothers, it's its own thing, but it's arcadey and fun. And I noticed that there were... What's going on with my PC? No, I don't want to change the colour scheme. Anyway. Yes. It is arcadey and fun, and there were different playable characters from different games. You might have to unlock them, but I'm sure they'll include other indie game characters in it as well, and that will fit the theme, you know. They just need to ask permission for all these different characters. That's probably why they're slow, because it's only in early alpha. But, you know, it's pretty easy. It's like samurai swords and throwing scissors and bombs of ink that blow up the other characters, and then escaping through a tear in the fabric of the space-time continuum. And it's just quick, good arcadey fun that people will enjoy. Up to 4 players, and, you know, quite an easy-going game. After this, I walked around the event for, you know, because I didn't want to do interviews anymore and do all the t-shirts with everything that's going on. I decided to just enjoy the event and go play some games. So I decided to go play Until Dawn, which was one of the upcoming releases, and that was, you know, quite a suspense horror game. Probably hard to describe, in the style of, yeah, I don't want to say The Walking Dead, but it's probably the closest you're going to get. That sort of thing where you go, look at the environment and make your decisions. Except the decisions aren't, you know, quick time decision trees. It's more what you've interacted with and what you've noticed about the place. So, say, on my playthrough, I went through and I found that there was a hidden camcorder recording, and the newspapers with the articles about the ghosts had been faked with a fake label. So when you pull back the label, you realise that it's been sent from somewhere else to its claiming to be sent. And that then had a butterfly in the corner, which was like the butterfly effect to say, you know, you've changed things. And it went from being a ghost, your dead friend, sort of jump scare things on the screen, to all of a sudden, quite dangerously copyrighted, a Thor clone, where Jigsaw, with his mask, everything as close as it could be, was running around after you, and you were trying to find out where to go, and with your friends. And do you follow your friend and go that way, or do you stay behind and go the other way because you heard and saw someone that way? I decided to go investigate what was going on and found Jigsaw. And then when you reunite with your friend, you've got the scissors you had earlier. If you hadn't got the scissors, would you have stabbed him in the shoulder? Who knows? And then you still get knocked out either way, but it might have consequences that change later on. You're tied up very Jigsaw style, with him talking to you on a tape, telling you that you have to make your decision. All of a sudden you're now not playing the girl, who I will come to comparison in another bit. You're now playing the guy, and your decision is, do you shoot yourself or do you shoot her? Because only one of you can survive, or you both die with this sword that's coming down from the ceiling in the most Jigsaw way possible. So, yeah, it's kind of turned into Saw, which it isn't. It's called Until Dawn. Even with the mask, it was just ripping it off entirely. And I really don't think that that will make it into the final version of the game. They might have to make some changes there. But not only that, when the butterfly symbol was in the corner, that kind of matched another game, and another game that I would say is in a very similar playstyle, and I was also thinking of at the time, it'd be good to be able to use that feature to rewind and see how things would have progressed had I done things differently. And this is by Square Enix, and it's called Life is Strange. And in this game, it's again the similar sort of thing, exploring and decisions. And when you've discovered something, you can rewind and replay the events and do them the other way. Of course, this is a puzzle mechanic, so your character will stay exactly where she is whilst this is going on.
Kate Marsh?
Yes.
Why the hell would he have pictures?
In this game, the puzzle mechanics work differently, and you can rewind back to the previous event and try out different solutions, but your character will retain any knowledge and any items that you have picked up in the process, and also stay in the same position, so this will be used for other puzzle mechanics later. And I don't know if it's intended that they also have the blue butterfly in the top corner, but when you do a decision that is going to have an effect in the future, the butterfly appears in the top left corner in exactly the same way that it did in Until Dawn. So maybe they've copied that from them. Not Square Enix copied from Until Dawn, because Until Dawn copied Saw. I'm going to suspect that they copied Life is Strange. And also during this process there was the discovery of CCTV, where the dad is watching the daughter, and that again made me think there's a bit of a comparison in the spying theme going on here in the two different games. And the lead character, also in Life is Strange, looks a bit like the lead character in Until Dawn, except in Until Dawn she's a bit bloodier and she's looking for her lost friends, whereas in Life is Strange she's with the friends. And yes, everything in Life is Strange is hand-drawn, hand-painted artwork, and there's kind of a bit of a joke in the game where it says in the back garden, it took us 2 years to paint. People probably won't notice now, so it's kind of like, you know, you won't really notice how much effort they put into painting the game and doing all that hard work, because it's kind of a bit disguised now. And there were other games that I got to try at the Square Enix event the next day. I'm glad that I picked to do it outside of the main event rather than on EGX day with all the hassle and time that was lost, because I got to talk with the devs and spend more time finding out about the games. And one of the main games that I think people will enjoy is Lords of the Fallen. That's kind of a Dark Souls sort of themed game with very much the same playstyle and the difficulty curve, but they're trying to be a bit more linear, whereas Dark Souls people threw it away in frustration because they maybe got lost going the wrong area. I know right at the start it kind of points you down the hill towards the skeletons and the hardest area when you arrive. So most people do go down there, whereas in Lords of the Fallen they're trying to keep it a lot more linear.
Yes,
there will still be unlockable paths and hidden secret areas, is what I've been told, but they're trying to funnel you in the right direction so you don't get frustrated straight from the offset that you're going into areas that you're not meant to go for like 20 more levels when you're a lot stronger and have a lot better equipment. One of the other ones I got to play that I quite enjoyed there was Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. That is going to be the follow-up to Lara Croft and The Guardian of Light, which is a 4-player online shooting arcade co-op game. It can be co-op. It can also be very much not co-op, where you try to kill off the other people by dropping bombs and knocking them off ledges into the spike pits, or using your grappling hook and releasing it whilst they're walking across the spikes. There has been promised that there will be achievements for being a bit of a troll in those aspects and having a bit of a laugh, and I couldn't help but bomb off the developer off the edge. Well, not the developer, but the press person, the person with Square Enix, who I was talking to and playing with at the time, and bombing her off into the ledge and having a bit of a laugh with it. Of course, I accidentally broke the game a few times by entering it into debug mode, and I don't know how I managed to do that. I think it was just because I was on the main gamepad that they normally play on, and I didn't really know the controls that well, and may have accidentally pressed the wrong button at the wrong time. So yeah, that went wrong a bit, but it was a fun game, and the debug mode obviously won't be in there in the main game, and also easy to access. Other than that, I also went to the after party press at EGX on the first day. It was Beer Jack or Beef Jack's event in O'Neill's from 7 o'clock, and there were quite a few games. That's where I played Paperbound. I don't know if Paperbound was actually in EGX, I didn't get to see them there, but there were a few games that were in EGX and a few that weren't, and there was an Iron Fisticle event where it was who could get the highest score, and I was embarrassing the developers of this by getting past not only level 1 but almost entirely level 2, which no one had done before. So I got the highest score on that by quite a long way, and they offered me to have a t-shirt or a copy of the game, and I know I probably could have got a pressed copy of the game, but I decided to go with the game. I probably should have got the t-shirt, but what can you do? There's an instant decision sort of thing, and I was like, it saves all the hassle of having to get all this and that and blah blah blah. Yeah, there was quite a few different games, EGX itself, and obviously these, and there was Reeve, which is the new game by Two Tribes, which is going to be an action platformer shooter game, which I've also got, and there will be a separate review for on the Let's Play channel, and that will be coming up, well, they're early development, very, very early development, so there's no actual release date for that yet, and there's 2015 for Life is Strange. I haven't got a release date for Until Dawn, or Lords of the Fallen. Sleeping Dogs has had a HD remake as well. I got to play that at the Square Enix event. That's coming up on the 9th, I believe, so very, very shortly. They've updated the graphics a bit for the new consoles, and they've also added a lot more NPCs around to make it feel a bit more full, and more things to fly everywhere when you smash people through the desks. So just general, little things. So if you don't own it, it's a fun game to play, and I definitely recommend a purchase. But going around the event, there was The Escapists, and there was the Left Field collection, which was really, really indie devs, like unknown indie devs. I might do a separate video on those because I've got some contacts if I can get some builds. Not all of them are too special. Some of them looked alright, but a couple of them looked very basic. And even saying that, not in the Left Field collection, there was also this really bad Java dating game with a drag queen that I just couldn't picture being anything but a Facebook game or a Girls Go Games game. But people might enjoy it, you never know. I just couldn't pay for it myself. It's not my game, not my cup of tea. It's like, memorise this and press the right option during the date, and it's a bit of a drag, and maybe people will have fun with it, not me. Yes, what else was there? Alien Isolation. That was one of the main ones that people seem to be wanting and looking forward to most, as well as Evolve. Alien Isolation, though, is set in the same world as Alien, but with Ripley's daughter, which I would personally say they should have just gone with either Ripley or someone else entirely. You know, if you're going separate, go separate. If you're going alien, follow the main plot, then follow the main plot. But it's going to be not multiple aliens, just one alien and limited ammo, and the main threat is going to be from other people on the ship, and it's going to be very procedurally generated, you know, so not every playthrough will be the same. The alien will learn from how you interact with it and learn what you do to distract it, so it will start doing different things. Maybe if you cycle through the different ways, it might not learn as quickly, who knows. And I imagine it's going to be very specific what you have to do to defeat the alien. You know, you're probably going to have to get to a specific room with specific equipment and different things like that to follow the usual alien fighting it in a mech suit, probably to chuck it out the airlock. That would be a bit too similar to the main game, wouldn't it? I think they need to come up with something a bit more original as a way of defeating it. But that was in Aliens. In Alien, the original, they defeated it a different way. In Isolation, there's only one alien, and it's more of a queen alien, but I don't get why it's the queen alien without a tag sack. Maybe that gets explained more in the game, because it's definitely not just a drone alien, because they run around differently and walk differently and act differently in the environment, and are also less tough. So it'd be interesting to see how that one pans out. And Evolve is the new game by the creators of Left 4 Dead, where you have 4 people on the team versus the evolving creature, and one person who plays the evolving creature. And the aim is to take down the evolving creature before it gets too powerful and just basically owns you and kills you. Whereas you would normally grind up to get levels on the main people to defeat the alien. It's more that the alien or creature needs to grind up to get levels to defeat you and to evolve, so it devours other creatures and gains abilities and just basically becomes a lot harder to kill. So the earlier you get it, the better. It's going to be track down the alien creature thingy rather than knowing where it is and just rushing it. So it should be interesting to look at. I question how it will do, because I think that Left 4 Dead had a much better and fairer way of doing things. You know, it's basically like playing the tank, but the tank evolves and being against 4 normal people, and 4 people probably would be able to take down the tank on their own. You know, depends whether all 4 have ganked up on you or it's just 1v1, where obviously the creature then has the advantage. So I'm dubious on this one. People seem to be looking forward to it, and maybe if I had a bit of a longer go at it, I would feel differently, but other than that, we shall have to see. And that's pretty much it from my experience. Obviously there was the hidden secret shop and different things and themed shops and cosplay events and competitions, and even when I saw there was all the cosplay people posing for regular people to come draw them and paint them in an artwork competition. That was quite an interesting one. And on the different dates there would be different competitions and different people attending, so you really need to pick your day if you're not going to go for all 4 days, and see what theme and what after party suited you best, so you can pick the best day. And EGX will return with Res in March 2015. They're moving it to London, and they're moving the main one to Birmingham from now on, so it's kind of a flip around. But other than that, that was EGX for this year, and thank you for watching. Check out the main channel to see different gameplay from Try and Paperbound and Reeve and a few other games from EGX, and they will get their own separate videos rather than this amalgam of EGX itself. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next.